Many of you might remember this actor, a once stalwart presence in numerous iconic films. However, as the 2000s came to a close, he vanished almost entirely from mainstream cinema. Recent developments suggest his return is unlikely, and if it does happen, it might only be for minor roles. Today, let's revisit the era of Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career that Hollywood's big studios seem to have forgotten, leading him to roles in movies rarely scoring above 4 out of 10 on review sites. From the heights of Jerry Maguire to the legal battles that threaten to overshadow his contributions to cinema, we unravel the story of a star fighting to reclaim his place in the spotlight. This tale is more than just about one man. It's a reflection on fame, resilience, and the quest for redemption. So, if you're ready to explore the complexities of life in and out of Hollywood's glare, hit that like button, subscribe, and join us on this fascinating journey. Let's peel back the layers of celebrity and uncover what lies beneath the surface of stardom. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions fuel our exploration into these captivating stories. Cuba's journey to fame began with the 1991 hit Boys in the Hood. Before this, he had minor parts, often as an extra. In Boys in the Hood, he secured a leading role, contributing to the film's box office success and cult status in the US. Interestingly, Cuba almost missed out on this role, which went to him after Will Smith turned it down, fearing it might harm his image from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Directed by John Singleton, who would later work on Too Fast, Too Furious, Four Brothers, and Shaft, Boys in the Hood was his directorial debut. Singleton fought for months with Sony Studios, who liked his script but not him. Eventually, he won, albeit with a reduced budget, but still made the film his way. The movie also marked the film debut of rapper Ice Cube and boosted the careers of actors like Lawrence Fishburne and Morris Chestnut. During the 90s, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career flourished, featuring in many well-known films. Yet, by the early 2000s, after a few flops, his star began to fade. Boys in the Hood itself became a touchstone, referenced and parodied in films like Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, especially for casting Lawrence Fishburne as Cuba's father, despite being only 7 years his senior. This casting choice, humorous to some, was seriously criticized at the time. However, it's worth noting that a significant portion of the film shows Cuba's character as a child, played by a different actor, underscoring the layered storytelling of the movie. In Boys in the Hood, Fishburne's portrayal was convincingly fitting, highlighting Cuba Gooding Jr.'s ability to stand out even among seasoned actors. Despite not snagging an Oscar nomination like the film's director, Cuba caught the eye of producers, marking the start of a promising career. His subsequent significant role in Gladiator, not to be confused with the 2000 film, came with a paycheck of $100,000. The film also featured James Marshall, another actor expected to rise to fame, who unfortunately faded from the spotlight rather quickly. Although Gladiator wasn't a commercial hit, Cuba's performance received widespread acclaim, boosting his career and increasing his salary for future roles. Despite often featuring in films that didn't perform well at the box office, his career didn't suffer significantly as long as he wasn't in a leading role. Cuba's involvement in the 1993 film Judgment Night didn't fare well, mirroring the problematic production and lackluster reception at the box office. Following a few more missteps, including Lightning Jack, where he played a supporting role to Paul Hogan, Cuba's luck changed with Wolfgang Petersen's Outbreak, which was successful at the box office. Cuba's role in its success was minimal, but it set the stage for a significant breakthrough in his career. The real turning point came with Jerry Maguire, where Cuba starred alongside Tom Cruise. His dedication and unique approach during auditions impressed director Cameron Crowe enough to choose him over contenders like Jamie Foxx and Damon Wayans. Jerry Maguire was a blockbuster hit, raking in $273 million at the box office against a budget of $50 million. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s stellar performance earned him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. This victory was a turning point, transforming his career into what seemed like a fairy tale. His salary leaped from $600,000 for Jerry Maguire to $1.5 million for subsequent roles, placing him in the league of Denzel Washington and overshadowing contemporaries like Lawrence Fishburne in terms of both acclaim and earnings. During this golden era, Cuba was selective with his roles, often securing lucrative deals for supporting parts. This strategy meant that even if a project like What Dreams May Come didn't perform well, it barely impacted him financially. Conversely, his participation in successful comedies significantly boosted his profile and earnings. However, a significant career misstep occurred in 1998 with A Murder of Crows. Cuba and Tom Berenger's involvement couldn't save the film from being so poorly received that Warner Brothers decided against a theatrical release, opting to send it straight to video. While the exact amount Cuba earned from this film remains undisclosed, it's speculated that he still received a substantial paycheck due to the production's financial arrangements. This episode marked a cautionary chapter in an otherwise meteoric rise, illustrating the unpredictable nature of Hollywood success. In 1999, Cuba Gooding Jr. experienced a significant downturn at the box office with two films, Instinct and Chill Factor, both failing to make an impact. For Instinct, Cuba received his highest fee, yet $2.5 million, sharing the screen with Anthony Hopkins. The presence of Hopkins meant that the film's failure didn't significantly tarnish Cuba's reputation. Chill Factor, however, presents a more intriguing case. Co-starring with Skeet Ulrich, who had risen to prominence with Scream in 1996, this film contributed to a major setback in Ulrich's career, relegating him to direct-to-video releases. What stands out about Chill Factor is not just its role in Ulrich's career downturn, but its staggering $70 million budget, surpassing even The Matrix by $10 million in the same year. Morgan Creek, the studio behind Chill Factor, was known for big hits in the late 80s and early 90s, but faced a series of flops in the late 90s, including Soldier with Kurt Russell. Amid financial struggles, the studio bet on Chill Factor with a novice director, Hugh Johnson, who had primarily worked as a cinematographer. The decision to cast Cuba Gooding Jr. and Skeet Ulrich as leads in such a high-budget film, especially given the director's limited experience, was a bold move. The financial outcome for Chill Factor was disastrous, earning only $11 million against its $70 million budget and becoming one of the year's biggest flops. This failure marked the second time in 2 years that Cuba found himself involved in a perplexing film project. Despite these setbacks, Men of Honor offered Cuba a chance to recover some of his standing. The film didn't achieve remarkable box office success, but it was well received by critics and audiences alike, allowing Cuba Gooding Jr. to demonstrate his resilience and capability to rebound from professional lows. After Men of Honor, Cuba Gooding Jr. appeared in Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor, where his performance garnered positive attention. This role, among others, suggested that if he had continued to pursue supporting roles, his career trajectory might have been different. However, like many actors, Cuba aspired to reach the heights of stardom akin to Denzel Washington or Wesley Snipes, leading him to pursue lead roles in hopes of carrying films to success. His initial foray into leading roles with Snow Dogs, a comedy that grossed $115 million worldwide on a $30 million budget, seemed promising. Encouraged by this success, Cuba believed in his comedic talent and began accepting a variety of comedy roles without much consideration for the scripts, as long as his salary increased. This approach, however, led to a series of failures. Boat Trip was notably unsuccessful, earning Cuba a Golden Raspberry nomination, and was followed by the flop of The Fighting Temptations, a black comedy with a significant budget. Attempting to pivot, Cuba took the lead in Endgame, an action film that was so poorly received, the studio released it directly to video, bypassing theaters altogether despite its $20 million budget. Cuba's last significant attempt to regain his footing was with Daddy Day Camp in 2007. Despite its $35 million budget, the film only managed to gross $18 million. Between 2003 and 2007, Cuba experienced 7 consecutive film failures, including Radio, which despite being critically acclaimed and well received by audiences, could not break the streak of commercial disappointments. As Cuba Gooding Jr.'s appeal diminished among both white and black audiences, the roles offered to him shifted significantly. No longer a leading man in films destined for theatrical release, he found himself relegated to tertiary roles in projects like The Butler and Machete Kills. Since 2010, His filmography has been dominated by direct-to-video releases such as Sacrifice, The Way of War, Bayou Caviar, and The Hit List, sharing the screen with other actors like Christian Slater, whose careers have similarly veered away from the spotlight. These films, often compared unfavorably with the latter-day works of Bruce Willis and Nicolas Cage, are characterized by their modest budgets and limited appeal, released directly to video without much fanfare. This trajectory suggests a missed opportunity for Cuba to possibly redefine his career or avoid the pitfalls that come with certain film choices. Compounding his professional challenges, Cuba Gooding Jr. faces serious legal issues, with multiple allegations of harassment and rape leveled against him. Unlike many similar cases, there is video evidence supporting some of the harassment claims. Gooding denies these allegations, asserting they are attempts at extortion. The legal proceedings have been complicated by the COVID-19 pandemic, leading to delays and uncertainty about the outcome. With such allegations, any hopes of a career revival seem bleak, further hampered by his advancing age. What lessons can we draw from Cuba's journey? How does his story reflect the broader dynamics of fame, talent, and the quest for redemption? Now it's your turn to weigh in. Share your thoughts, insights, or even your own experiences of rising, falling, and rising again. How do you view the challenges faced by those in the public eye? And what do you believe the future holds for Cuba Gooding Jr.? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of those who've captivated us on screen and beyond. Your engagement helps me explore more stories, uncover more truths, and connect more deeply with the narratives that move me.